Hello, welcome to June's studio vlog. I've got a lot for you today. We are gonna get into some art making, some hoodie making, frame prepping, and my first market of the summer. You're in for a treat. Sit back, relax, and I will see you on the other side. Hello, I hope you're doing well. You are about to join me on making an illustration, my last illustration, for my patrons in this studio. I don't think I explained that very well. This is the last illustration that I will be making in my old studio before I move homes. This is a very bittersweet piece for me. This piece is for my patrons. I decided that I was going to make some downloadable note cards for them. So I started off with the floral border along the edge, and I was going to leave the middle part blank so that my patrons can use that as a note card or like a template if they want to write pen pal letters or their to-do lists or anything like that. But as I was doing it, it just felt very empty because I don't normally leave big gaps in my art pieces. So I did actually end up drawing some more flowers in that place so that I can make this piece into a print. And then I digitally took out those flowers in the middle to make it a note card. So you're seeing the very beginning stages of that. A portion of this piece is also going to be used as June's sticker reward for my patrons as well. So the inspiration behind this piece comes from my garden. I don't think I've shown it much this year on my YouTube channel. I filmed a bunch of clips of it last year. If you go back to my September studio vlog of 2 years ago, I think that would have been like 2022's September vlog. I showed a really big portion of my garden because I was turning the plants into watercolor paints. So my garden has been with me since 2020, and I first used it as a vegetable garden, and then I changed it into a flower garden because I just couldn't upkeep with vegetables, and I just wanted to throw wildflower seeds into my garden and let nature run its course. So my garden last year was full of flowers, and I really enjoyed it. And this year I started in March, and I planted, what did I plant? I planted milkweed, lupines, daisies, poppies, and dahlias, I think. I think there's some other ones in there too. Basically, I just grabbed whatever pretty ones were at the grocery store and threw them in my garden. And as they were just starting to pop out of the ground, and I was so excited to start seeing them bloom, our landlords told us that we had to move. I have been at this place for 8 years. It's seen the entirety of me building my art career into what it is now. And it's really bittersweet to leave this place. First of all, it was illegal that they told us we had to move out. We technically could not be kicked out unless they were gonna use the renter space for like family, like immediate blood family, but they actually wanted to use our renter's space for like a different set of renters, which is completely illegal. So we were very unhappy about that, understandably, but I think it was time for us to leave anyways, so we just said yes and decided to leave. So I'm really, really sad about leaving my garden space. It's been really therapeutic for me to work in my garden in the early hours of the morning before the heat kicks in, and then also in the evening to weed the garden out. I really think going into dirt with no gloves and just like digging through dirt and weeding with your hands, like I just think there's something so healing in that. And so that's gonna be really tough to leave. So what I've been doing as I was coming up with my patron reward piece was taking apart my flowers that hadn't bloomed yet and putting them into pots so that I could take them to the new house, which doesn't have a garden space. And this piece kind of came out of that with, I don't think I've shown the full piece yet because I've got it covered with a piece of paper here, but it shows a woman like resting in the flowers, and I mean in a completely literal way, that's how I feel when I'm in my garden. So this whole moving situation has caused like a crazy big art rut for me. I find it really, really hard to draw at the moment. I haven't touched my sketchbook in like 3 months. All I've been doing is my patron rewards because I have to do that because they're paying month to month. And I've been doing some commissioned work on the side to earn some extra income. But actually making art for myself, like I know my patron art is technically still for myself, but I am making it with a purpose for my patrons. So art that is truly, truly for myself with no other motive, I have not been able to do. I've tried to sketch pieces for myself, but it's not working. I think my art is broken. I have anxiety and depression on a regular basis, but because of this whole move situation, it's been completely blown out of proportion and it's just paralyzing me from doing any actual art, which is why last month I kind of took to lino cut printing because it was something new and I couldn't really judge myself on it because I had never done it before, and it was my way of somehow being creative without having to draw. So this piece was one of the only art pieces that I actually made in this studio since being told that we had to move, and I have not made any art since, and it's been a couple weeks since this piece. I feel myself coming out of the art rut. I'm hoping that it kind of settles down soon, but I guess there's no timeline on a situation like this on how the brain works. I'm recording this post-move, and yeah, my brain is still in a deep rut, but I really am enjoying the new home, and my studio space has a lot of natural light, whereas the one that I am recording in here in the video had 0 natural light. It was completely north facing, and so I never got any natural light. So this room that I'm recording this voiceover in has natural light, and I think once my brain is out of the rut, it'll do great for my mental health. And the location is really nice too. I'm able to walk to all of my favorite coffee shops, and I can walk to the post office to drop off my orders, and it's like half in the city, half in the country. My old place, where my old studio was entirely in the country, and I was really worried about going back to the city, but this new location is half city, half country, so it's not very far until I'm surrounded by trees again, which is very important to me. My plants from my garden, my flowers, suffered the first week since we moved because I neglected them very severely, but I've pruned them and have taken care of them, and they've grown a lot since. And my milkweed is starting to bloom, my daisies have bloomed, my pansies have bloomed, and my poppies are trying very hard. They should be blooming, but they're doing their best. You'll get a studio tour in 10 or so minutes, but that's just kind of an update on what's been going on lately. Hello, it is June 14th. I have spent the past few days taking apart vintage frames, cleaning them, learning how to use a power drill, wiring the frames, and putting my artwork into the frames. All of this in preparation for a gallery exhibition that I have in July of 2024. We have a very small local gallery in Abbotsford. We have a lake called Mill Lake, which is just basically a big pond that people like to walk around, and there's playgrounds all around it, and also a really small building that is a local artists gallery called the Keratin Gallery. And I got a showing with another artist for July of 2024. This Saturday is drop-off day for the art, so this past week I have been doing all of these things to prepare my artwork, and I just emailed off my PDF file showing the gallery coordinator what my art pieces are and the order I want the frames to go in and their titles and artist statements and all of that. Only for her to email back that the show has been cancelled. Now, this is neither of our faults. There apparently was a small fire in the gallery that I somehow missed the news announcement for, and the gallery coordinator just didn't email us in time to let us know. I'm sure it's been quite hectic with sorting out a fire going on in a gallery. And so my gallery exhibition has been pushed tentatively to September, though the coordinator is not aware if the gallery will actually be ready by then. Mainly, my showing has been pushed to 2025. No, but honestly, I am grateful that I have pre-framed all of these art pieces for my showing in 2025, because it's a lot of work. Like, I had to source out all of these vintage frames from thrift stores. It's taken me like 6 months or something. So I've been getting vintage frames and having to take out the old art, cleaning them, taking out all the rusty old nails, and then wiring them myself. It's a lot of work, and now future me doesn't have to worry about it, so I'm very happy about that. So they're just gonna live in here for a year. Maybe I'll have to organize like a small gallery exhibition, like a DIY one, just in the meantime. I mean, I feel bad them collecting dust in the art closet for so long. On the bright side though, I taught myself how to use a power drill, so I conquered a big fear of mine, and I'm proud of that. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed the video. I just wanted to talk about a few things before I let you go. First of all, I've been making hoodies, as you saw, and at my market, which you just saw, I sold one of them. I have been making these hoodies for fun. It was just like a weird idea that I had when I started getting into lino cut prints last month. And I ordered a bunch of patches for my own hoodie, and then I thought I would make some patches of my own art for my hoodie, and then that birthed into the idea of making hoodies to actually sell. And I had no idea if there was a market for this or if my audience would even be interested in this, but I took it to my market, that was on Friday, and they were both a huge hit, and one of them sold. It was actually really sweet. It was this person who was walking past a few times. They never actually approached my booth, but they just kept walking past and looking at my coat rack with my hoodies. And the red patched one was the one on the front. And they, after a few laps back and forth, they just came, grabbed it, brought it straight to my table, and were like, I need this right now. It was really sweet. I still have the white one available, which I'm not putting on my online store. I'm going to keep taking it to markets. But I am planning on making more because I really, really love making them, and apparently people like them as well. Here's a silly little clip of me when the market was just about to end, wearing the hoodie that I made for myself. It's still completely a work in progress. I've added one patch that I got off of an artist on Etsy, and then one of the doily patches of my artwork. As you can see, I was very, very excited about the whole thing. In other news, Patreon. You would have seen me making the artwork that I made for my patrons earlier in this video. That actually turned into a note card, like a digital download note card. So you can see these here. They are available for patrons who join the Field Notes tier, which is only $7.50 Canadian a month. And when you join this, for $7.50, you get access to, I think it's 13 digital downloads, because I've been on Patreon for 13 months now. 13 digital downloads for $7.50. I think that's a steal. But if you want some note cards for your note-taking, your to-do lists, or even just mailing to a pen pal, you can find those to download on my Patreon. The print and sticker for this month also came from that piece, so the sticker is from that piece that I made earlier in this video, and the print is one of my lino cuts. That print will not be available in my store. Only in my secret Patreon shop. The leftovers from my patrons will be in that shop. If you want a lino cut, I still have some lino cuts of my first lino cut print available in my regular shop, so that's available for you. A huge thank you to all of my patrons. I could not do any of this without them. I'm so grateful for that community that I've built there, and that people are willing to support me in that way. I will be making another video right after this for my patrons, which will be a detailed art supply haul. So if you want more videos, that's over on my Patreon as well. I've been talking a lot about Patreon, and I don't want to shove it down your throats. If you can't support me in that way, I completely understand, and I do not blame you. But for those who are willing to go to Patreon and are able to, big love, big thank you from me. But that's all from me for now. If you want to catch me at one of my markets, I will be at the Fort Langley Night Market every single Friday from now, today's July 2nd, until mid-September. Mid-September. If you want to find exact dates and the location, that's all pinned in my Instagram profile. But I will talk to you all later. Bye!